The JSE is trading on the weaker side so far today, along with its global peers, as investors awaited the crucial European Central Bank policy announcement later in the day. Locally, a slew of data has been released to give us a sense of the state of trade. We're joined now by Carmen Mpelwane, Portfolio Manager at Absa Asset Management. Carmen, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you for your time. Give us a sense of how the markets are performing for today, especially after that shaky start this morning.
Yeah, luckily we've seen a turnaround midday, so JSE up about 30 bips. That's largely been driven again by Naspers and Prosus, which are up about 4.5 to 5% each, as well as the likes of Mediclinic as well, which was boosted this morning by an announcement.
South Africa's current account is out for the first quarter of 2022. Talk us through perhaps the significance of this data and how we're faring.
Yes, I think once again it shows the strength that our economy is experiencing at the moment. We have seen an increase of, a surplus of 2.2% compared to the previous quarter of 2.1%. And this is largely driven by both volumes on the merchandising side as well as net gold exports and pricing as well. So both of those dynamics have given lots of support to the surplus that we are seeing, the trade surplus.
And perhaps taking stock of mining, we know that production and sales for April of this year are out. What are the expectations? How have we fared?
So not as good in terms of production. We have seen a significant pullback for April, down approximately 14.9% year on year. And that was largely driven by the precious group metals, number one, coal, and as well as the gold in terms of production. However, on the sales side, we have seen a much smaller pullback, down 0.8%. And again, largely driven by precious metals as well as iron ore in this regard. In terms of production numbers and that pullback, giving lots of support to the commodity prices, which remain largely elevated. And so we're likely to see strong numbers still coming out in terms of the mining companies going forward.
Now, we've just heard the breaking news on Comair. We also know the business rescue practitioners have lodged a court application to convert the business rescue proceedings into liquidation proceedings. Now, if this goes ahead, what kind of impact will it have on the aviation industry?
Yeah, I think it's both surprising and not surprising. Surprising that it's come to this, unfortunately. Comair has been in the country for decades, operating airlines. However, they weren't able to turn around what they should have done probably a few years ago when they did that big Boeing order. They weren't able to restructure that debt. And hence we are in the position that we are in at the moment where liquidation has been proposed. The Comair Rescue Consortium just was not able to meet the deadline of 31st of May. Yeah. What this does mean is that another airline or budget airline in terms of Kulula is being pulled out of the economy. We have seen Lift Airlines join the portfolio over the last year or two. But it means that, prices are likely to go up because supply of airline seats are now being reduced unless someone comes in and a new airline gets announced or put together. So not good for the consumer or for the traveler at least, but let's see what plays out in the media.
Yeah. Pepco has posted its interim results. What does that performance look like?
Yeah, so we're seeing that the share price in Poland hasn't moved much today. Having said that, the results have come out quite strong, and this was boosted by twofold. One, in terms of a refurbishing of a lot of their stores across their portfolio. They've seen restrictions in terms of lockdown being eased, so consumers coming back into stores, which has boosted retail globally, as we've seen. And then we've also seen them adding a record number of stores. So they had a net number of 235 new stores that were added to the stable over this period. And that's given them a significant recovery. They're back above pre-pandemic levels. So that's been good for the group. We saw revenue increasing 17.2%. And profit, core earnings, up 25.5%. So this has boded well for the group. They've got a new CEO and CFO, but they have guaranteed in terms of this announcement that they are likely to meet their annual guidance.
Let me thank you for your time. Carmen Mpelwane, Portfolio Manager at Absa Asset Management, speaking about the very latest in the world of business.